Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode at the Barnyard. This is episode 3. I'm Blaine McIntosh alongside
Matthew Eden.
Thank you guys for tuning in today. We're about to talk about a little bit of things going on in spring training right now. You know, I've been noticing a lot with some older guys like Chris Sale, like just lighting it up.
Yeah, Chris Sale has been on fire this spring training.
What do you think? What do you think's going on with him? Why do you think he's just like turning into this? I mean, he was like, don't get me wrong, he was
the guy.
Yeah, but I mean, after injury, we were like, yeah, you know, things could have went, you know, a little left. But it's awesome.
He did say that he was. This is the first spring training since 2018. I want to say
that's what I'm saying. So it
felt healthy.
It was great to see him like bounce back from that injury and really like, you know, really tap in. It was like usually people aren't able to do that, so it was cool to see.
Vintage Sale.
Yeah. But yeah, even with like the Dodgers going in with Yamamoto throwing 2 innings, 19 pitches, with 16 of those being strikes.
That's just insanity.
That's just looking really good for the Dodgers right now.
And bad for the Braves.
I mean, the money is obviously looking like it's paying out as of right now, at least.
I mean, it helps you can defer contracts 20 years down the road.
Oh, yeah, for sure, especially one of the best players in the entire league, if not the best.
Yeah. It also helps you spend $1 billion in one offseason.
That's what. Yeah, obviously that's. I mean, if you spent that much money and had a mediocre season, what do you do at that point? Do you
move?
Move out of L.A.
Move to Canada.
So now there's going to be more teams just besides the Blue Jays now.
Yeah.
What are they going to be? The Vancouver Dodgers?
Montreal Expos, baby. Bring them back.
Bring them back. Okay. I actually agree with that. They had some dope uniforms.
Yeah.
But what do you think about these guys like Blake Snell, Tim Anderson? I mean, not Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson got picked up with the Marlins.
I thought he had a tryout.
He's with the Marlins.
Oh, then that must have just happened.
So, but you still have Blake Snell, Cody Bellinger, J.D. Martinez, Jordan Montgomery as free agents.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm surprised nobody's picked up Snell yet.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like he would just, really change a pitching staff,
Yeah.
Just him alone, like.
I mean, he's
there.
the reigning Cy Young Award
That's
winner.
what I'm saying.
How is he not on a team?
There's so many other guys that have faced injuries and faced different things and are getting that shot still, and it's like, whoa.
Like Chris Sale, for example. I mean, he was mediocre at best last season. He's with the Braves for the next 3 seasons, and Blake Snell is sitting on the couch.
That's what I'm saying. How does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
But going along, you got these teams like in our top 10 we have listed in our power rankings: Dodgers, Braves, Astros, Rangers, Orioles, Phillies, Yankees, Rays, Diamondbacks, and Blue Jays. And not one of them need Blake Snell?
I'm sure they'll all take Snell, but teams like the Dodgers and the Braves don't need Snell.
Right. Though obviously those teams did a lot of big things in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, the big 3 for the Braves right now: Strider, Fried, and Sale.
Oh, 100%.
And plus you got Morton just sitting back there.
100%, yeah.
And Bryce Elder.
Yeah, so there's not much more they could possibly add. I mean,
put Elder, after what I've seen of Elder this spring training, send him to the bullpen. Sign Snell.
You're giving up on him that early in the season?
Yes. Every single start he's had has been abysmal.
Maybe it's just the fit of those uniforms they got this year.
Oh my, those Fanatics uniforms are horrible.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but they're see-through. I think the company that makes them is owned by Michael Rubin. So it's like this billionaire comes in and he's like, brings out these supposedly supposed to be good uniforms, yeah. And I mean, I guess you can say they're pretty, weightless
Yeah, weight reduction. That's what we're going with
Yeah,
here.
because
Like
you
we're
can't
racing.
you can't even like you can see the guy's shorts, you
Yeah.
know, under his pants. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Like, I
that's-
just feel like the material is like so cheap.
That's what I'm worried about with because the NHL is switching to Fanatics from Adidas here in a couple seasons.
But that's what I think they would do for like a fan like jersey, you know,
Yeah.
not like an actual player jersey.
well, this jersey right here is a Fanatics jersey.
And that was better quality
Than what the pros are getting.
exactly. So it's like even the patches, they're not even patches. They're like just
Iron.
yeah, they're just like ironed in, and it's like,
It's only a matter of time before they spell one of their names wrong.
oh yeah, they're bringing up a lot about it right now, like with
I've seen too many orders from
yeah.
Fanatics. Like they spelled Jonathan Taves, T.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
they spelled it toes.
yeah, and the like there it's more of like a rainbow look on the back
Yeah.
with like people with longer names, and it looks so tacky. Like they used to have it all across the back,
All in the same
like
size.
even right here, what you can see right here. This is a Nike. I have a Nike Mets jersey right here,
Yeah.
and the quality is mint. It's
Yeah.
it's legit, and it can withstand that sun in those games and the washes and things like that. And I feel like those be spending way more money having to get more jerseys
Yeah.
if they're falling apart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fanatics, what we've seen so far is a joke.
Yeah.
In actual game use. Streetwear, it's okay. But step up your game.
For real, like you're representing your company in front of the entire MLB, and you're getting that response. I would be dishing out the newest and best models I got, because you're putting your company at jeopardy with all the the hate and whatnot.
There's a tennis player by the name of Francis Tiafoe. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh yeah, for sure. He's amazing.
Well, he said that tennis is the hardest sport in the world.
Could you repeat that one more time?
Francis Tiafoe said that tennis is the hardest sport in the world.
We're talking about, I mean, listen, do not get me wrong. To be a really, really good tennis player, you have to have athleticism. You have to have lateral quickness. You got to have, forearm strength, whatever, it takes to be a tennis player. But let's look at every other sport and what it takes.
Okay. Let's just compare tennis to hockey.
Yeah,
All
let's compare it to.
What's the worst injury that can happen with tennis? A pulled hamstring?
Okay, yeah.
Torn
Everything is
groin?
probably like very, very like, it's individual. It's an individual sport. So like mainly everything's about like, tearing muscles or something. It's
Yeah.
never someone getting like hit by a ball and just coming out of a tennis match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or in hockey, you can die.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. In hockey, you can die.
This is just idiotic, to say it nicely. This has to be a joke. There's no way he actually thinks that.
I feel like he just said that to see the reaction because let's be real. Even baseball, you're getting
in baseball, if you're doing your job 30% of the time, batting wise, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, the only thing I can see comparable with baseball is the speed. So their serves are coming in hot, like 100-something miles per hour.
Dude, so are slap shots. Slap shots, the fastest recorder was like 108 by Zdeno Chara.
So I feel like that's his argument against other sports, is because it's kind of like this and it's kind of like that. But think of the overall like pain you put yourself through. I feel like tennis players like Roger Federer and guys like that made it so long in their career because it's all about your health. It's all about how well you prepare.
Pretty much the Tom Brady technique.
Yeah, so if you prepare for your matches, you're obviously going to, have endurance and make it through those matches. But if you're not putting in the work, but there's always those outliers of, a little tweak or a misstep or a rolled ankle or something. So,
Yeah, it's
But yeah, I mean, going into more about, I was looking into some things with, Bronny James, and I mean, I just had to bring this up because I'm seeing a lot about maybe him being first round in a mock draft. How long has it been since you've seen a player average 5.5 points per game and be listed in the first round?
Tell me your daddy is basically paying for the mock drafts.
Like, listen, don't get me wrong. Bronny James, amazing player. He's got his attributes. He's got things to work on. He might just have, the yips a little bit. I mean, it's hard.
He's
hard.
Averaging 5.5 points per game.
But it's hard playing in front of, a crowd like USC that everyone's putting this pressure on him. What do you think about, like, the pressure that he's probably facing? Do you think that doesn't affect him at all?
Who do you think has more pressure? Okay, let's compare.
Listen, he's LeBron James' kid, but that doesn't mean he doesn't face pressures,
What I'm saying is, who do you think was under more pressure? Tom Brady when he was down 28-3, or Bronny James in a meaningless regular season game? It don't matter who your dad is.
Yeah, I mean,
we're talking about Bronny, not LeBron.
Yeah, but think about that pressure. Your dad.
Look at Marvin Harrison Jr.
Your dad is the number one player in the world, in almost comparable in history to Michael Jordan. So, look at them shoes you have to fill.
You ain't got to fill your own shoes or fill your daddy's shoes. Look at Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State.
He doesn't have to.
Look at Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State, because that is another father-son you can compare. Marvin Harrison Jr. just won the Biletnikoff for the best wide receiver in the nation.
Yeah, but you can't. Everybody's not the same person,
Yeah, it's
you. He might have to, really think about going into this next, sophomore, junior season and really figuring it out instead of, thinking about going to the draft.
He's going to go to the draft so he can try to get drafted by the Lakers and play with his dad.
You think they write that story out like how it's supposed to be written?
Yeah.
You think they're really going to do it?
Yeah.
But what's the money looking like? How much do you offer a person that's averaging 5.5 points per game?
Whatever the rookie contract is.
I mean, you want to put a lot of faith in Bronny and what he's got going on, but you really can't, rely on him to even be a role player at this point in time.
No.
I feel like he's not.
I mean, he's averaging 5 points in college.
5 points and 2.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists.
Yeah,
so it's like what's he doing out there in the 31 minutes in the last 3 games that he's had?
Getting one flashy dunk and pretty much calling it a day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing a lot out of like the stat side of things, but I mean, you do see the occasional ESPN post about like, the dunk and whatnot.
Yeah,
but,
or his chase down block.
Yeah, or the one chase down block.
Yeah, it's a joke at this point.
But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest, Yeah. But going into like this NFL Combine going on, a bunch of interesting players and we had Peyton Wilson from NC State running a 4.43 40
as a linebacker.
Yeah, let me rephrase that. As a linebacker.
Well, that's not even the fastest one. Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson, he ran a 4.28. Mind you, the fastest 40 time ever was a 4.42 or a 4.24?
Yeah, I think.
Or was it a 4.22?
It might have been.
John Ross done it a couple years ago.
I do believe it was. Might have been that 4.22.
Yeah,
because I remember back then when Chris Johnson broke it was like below that. I feel like
I think it was Chris Johnson's.
It's a 2.4.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to see. And do you like the setup of the NFL Combine? Do you think it really shows the true abilities of a player? I know I saw Caleb Williams talking about how he didn't feel like he needed to throw, like he and he really just wanted to go out there and I guess do the small amount that he thought he needed to do and, get the same result of being a first maybe potential top pick,
I wouldn't touch Caleb Williams with a 10-foot pole if I was the Bears. I would rather have Justin Fields. I would rather bring Tom Brady out of retirement.
You think he's kind of like a virus
I'd call
to a
up
team?
Peyton Manning.
Why do you believe that? Do you think he's like a virus to a team?
He got benched at Oklahoma, transferred to USC to a weaker conference, and apparently, now he's the best thing there ever was.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you on that because it was interesting to see the switch,
Yeah, he getting benched at Oklahoma to
Spencer Strider. Or not Spencer Strider,
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. But yeah, it was interesting to see how he kind of like morphed into this player at USC, but he became this scrambler that I've never seen him do. He was throwing a lot out of the pocket. He was rolling out, just spinning, throwing. So I'm like,
if you watch the actual game film, he misses his first 3 reads that are always wide open.
That's what I'm saying. So how does that play in the NFL? How can you really have a guy like that when you got the best linebackers, the best defensive linemen coming at you? You can't be scrambling like that. You've seen Lamar Jackson.
He's going to be Manziel without the alcohol problem.
I feel like I don't know about that if you can compare Manziel to him.
All that hype coming out of college, he's going to be Manziel without the alcohol problem. I don't think he's going to do anything in the NFL.
I mean, I feel like he's going to have that 1 year. It may not be in his first year, may not be in his second year, but I feel like he may have that one breakout season. But can you compare him to a guy like Drew Brees or someone like that?
No.
Right now?
No. Drew Brees coming out of college was a nobody. He was a nobody.
That's what I'm saying.
Same thing with Tom Brady. It doesn't matter. Or Brock Purdy, for example. Last pick in the draft. Nobody thought he was going to do anything, thought he was going to be 3rd or 4th string quarterback, whatever. I almost said Cincinnati. San Francisco went through that many quarterbacks to where there was a couple plays in the NFC Championship game. They had to put Christian McCaffrey at quarterback because they had nobody.
Yeah. I mean, but what do you think, since we're talking about that, and I want to go into more about specifically with the Titans. What do you believe is going to happen with this Derrick Henry situation? Do you think we got the market cap space to make the right picks and still keep him on the team?
As much as I hate to say it, he's probably gone.
Where do you think he might go?
Baltimore.
Whoa.
I think he's going to go to Baltimore.
What do you think that does for Baltimore, though, having
the same thing whenever you have a running back at quarterback?
I think that would take so much off of Lamar, because now you're not keying on him. You're keying on – now you have to key on 2 different stars, 2 different star players.
That RPO is going to be insane.
Yeah, but I feel like their chances at that point, if they get Derrick Henry and keep that basically the same team they got from last year, they might be Super Bowl contenders.
You got to get past Mahomes. The
NFL but
goes
maybe
through Mahomes.
He's that piece that they needed to get past him. I feel like every team needs a good tight end. If you got a good tight end,
Derrick Henry's a running back.
I know, but I'm saying every team needs a good tight end to really be good. But if you can use guys like Derrick Henry and turn them into maybe that one blocker, because he can block. Obviously, he's huge. Maybe he's that one guy that sheds that one block on the edge for Lamar, and boom, now you're making this many more passes,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're not getting that right now, and it definitely showed in the playoffs.
Well, not to take anything away from Gus Edwards, but he's just too injury prone.
Yeah, that's the other thing with, injuries.
I mean, when he's out there, he's a talented running back.
Yeah.
But he's injury prone.
That's the only thing is with being injury prone, how can you throw these contracts at guys and how do they change in the negotiations based off of maybe past injuries and maybe potential new ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're basically taking a risk on you if you have like prior pre-existing injuries. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Derrick Henry never had any real bad injuries to where I feel like he could.
Do you not remember the year the Titans got the 1 seed?
Yeah, but I'm saying bad enough to where it would change his market value. Because you got guys like Saquon Barkley. I feel like those kind of guys, they're more injury prone. So they're.
I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, so I feel like guys like that would definitely have their numbers changed.
What's the market on a guy like Tony Pollard, though? He's never really had any injuries.
I mean, it's all based off of, I guess, just talent at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like he brings a lot to the table, and if you get him with the right pieces, he can be much more than what I think they think of him now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think about the whole T. Higgins situation with him getting the franchise tag?
I think it's well deserved, honestly. I think it's well deserved.
I think it's a tag and trade situation. I think they tagged him. They're going to try to find a trade for him.
So it raised his value, basically.
Yeah, well, if I'm not mistaken, the tag for him was around $20 million.
Okay.
So they tagged him so they could try to trade him to get an asset in return.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
And who is another wide receiver needy team?
Who do we got?
The Titans.
T. Higgins to the Titans?
And he's from Tennessee.
T. Higgins to the Titans.
I mean,
I think does it look like that right now? Because I feel like
I think Titans got to be the favorite if he gets traded.
Wouldn't that be good for the Titans?
Well, yeah.
I mean that would take so much off of Will Levis at that point too. Because now Will Levis has actual dominating wide receivers.
Yeah,
now.
he's got 2 good wide receivers.
And now he can throw to guys knowing that they'll come down with the catch rather than just scrambling and running for his life.
Well, he's going to be scrambling anyway because of that offensive line.
Well, if we can get some good picks in this next draft.
Like Joe Alt.
And use that market cap space.
Joe Alt is a 6'8", 350-pound monster at left tackle. You put him beside Skoronski, that left side is going to be locked up. I
mean, we need something at this point because I mean, our defense is solid. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's a couple of things that would change. But I feel like a lot of it's play calling. If you really want to look at it, they would run certain plays, certain zones on plays that didn't even need a zone. Like a run play is coming. Why would you set up for a pass, like a deep pass or like a pass in the flats?
Well, you can go back to the Cincinnati playoff game when the Titans were the 1 seed. After a 60-yard run, why are you going to do a screen pass?
That's what I'm saying.
What sense does that make?
Like they start going east to west when they need to be going north to south, and that's the problem right there. Is that they're trying too much. Like it seems like trick plays at this point because they're not running them smoothly. So it just seems like they're just doing it to do it. But they have guys that got key players that can make plays. DeAndre Hopkins.
D-Hop is a dog.
That's what I'm saying. You got to utilize those players. And I mean, I feel like they did as good as they could do utilizing him this year.
If this tells you anything, D-Hop was a 1,000-yard receiver last year in this piss-poor Titans offense.
See what I'm saying? You got stars on your team. Now you just need to make room to use them all.
Yeah.
They got to make that room, and they got to create that comfortability for Will Levis in the pocket rather than him scrambling all the time.
Yeah.
They got to create that for him.
They're going to ruin him the same way they ruined Mariota.
Oh,
but
yep.
Going on to the next thing. I haven't told you about this. This was one I was keeping a secret from you.
Let's bring it up.
They're already talking about expanding the college football playoff again.
You're kidding me.
I'm not a comedian. And it's primarily the SEC and the Big Ten pushing for this. And this has come out today, hot off the press. The Big Ten and the SEC would have 3 teams guaranteed to have a spot. Each conference would have 3 teams. The ACC and the Big 12 would have 2 teams each locked in. And then a group of 5 schools, so probably Liberty, would be locked in.
No way.
Then the 3 best teams at large. We haven't even had a 12-team playoff yet.
That's what I'm saying. How can they just switch it again after not even testing it with the set rules they had the first time?
It's and you know who this really screws?
Who?
Notre Dame, because they're
because
the only
they don't have
land.
yeah, they're the only independent. So whoever
With Army and Navy joining the AAC, they're the only independent left.
That's what I'm saying. How do you think that affects recruiting? Because I feel like recruiting, guys are not going to want to go to a school that's,
you got to have a perfect season to get in.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have a perfect season. So you almost know that you're not going to be in it for the long run. You know what I'm saying?
They're trying to make it where the big powerhouse schools are guaranteed a spot in, especially after what happened this last playoff with Florida State not getting in. Granted, we've seen why whenever they played Georgia.
That's what I'm saying.
But the biggest argument was Florida State should be in because they went undefeated conference champions.
Yeah, but
what would have happened if they went up against Texas,
that's
Washington,
what
or
I'm
Michigan?
saying. That doesn't make sense when you got teams like that, and those programs aren't changing anytime soon. They're not going to have any drastic change where they just become this great team to just falling off. You know, what I'm saying?
Washington may fall off.
Well, I mean, it's all about how they recoup after this championship game, and if they're able to find another quarterback, because they built that whole offense around him.
They lost their coach. They're losing their top 3 receivers. They're losing their quarterback. They lost everybody just about on defense.
Yeah.
They had like 22 players transferring.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They had so many people transfer, but some did go
to Alabama.
To Alabama. So even with
Alabama had players leaving to go somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying.
Saban left.
So it's like we're mixing and matching these teams, and it's almost hard to say like, oh, this team's going to be great next year, because it's all just guys mixing in from other teams with these big SECs going to other schools. That's changing the whole scheme up, I feel like, with these teams, because they're going to start utilizing the abilities of these SEC guys and all these good players and just building around them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And morphing these these teams to basically utilize the talent while they have it, because these dudes are getting in, getting out.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to utilize what they have right now and push it for that specific year. And I feel like Michigan did that this year and is the reason why they obviously turned out on top.
People are going to say that it was the Connor Stallions. Michigan went 5-0 against ranked opponents after the Stallions incident.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't like they beat no-name teams. They beat Penn State in Happy Valley.
Yeah, I feel like people are just saying that because, people are going to hate on Michigan regardless.
Well, yeah, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors.
But, yeah, I feel like Michigan's always got that, going to get that hate,
Oh, yeah.
So you could say that, but you can't take away that they beat the top team.
That Alabama-Michigan game was a classic.
That's what I'm saying.
That was an amazing
They
game.
beat Alabama, so it's like you can't take nothing away from guys like that.
Yeah, they beat Alabama, and Alabama beat Georgia in Atlanta.
Exactly, and it speaks for itself, I feel like.
Yeah. I love college football.
Yeah, man, it's really a different environment other than like the NFL. Like the NFL
the
seems
NFL
like
doesn't even have the seating capacity that the college teams have.
Exactly, that's
like
crazy.
Michigan has 110,000 seat capacity.
Yeah, that's wild.
The new Titan Stadium they're building has like 46,000.
Yeah, so obviously you can see how college is looked at. These teams the people really root for these teams, and they're always there for them, and that's why I feel like they pack these seats.
Yeah.
Because even at like Neyland Stadium, look at the fan camaraderie with like
best.
You got people dressing in white and orange checkered throughout the whole stadium. So it's like these teams are really like tight with their fans. That's why they keep showing up.
I mean, even if you go down to Florida, all you're going to see is either a sea of orange or a sea of blue.
Yep.
And everybody in there is chomping.
Oh yeah, in Florida for sure. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening to the Barnyard podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. This is episode 3. I'm Blaine McIntosh alongside
Matthew Eden. Peace and love.
Peace and love once again from Matt. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.